Good evening, internets. It's me, DP Knudten, for another edition of BOOKWARD BOUND. Yeah, that's where it went. It used to be over there, but now it's over there. My 301-day journey from I should really do this to done. And what has that done? It's the creation of a brand new book by January 1st, 2021. That's the day that I will be uploading to Amazon's Kindle Direct Publishing platform a brand new book called NONFICTION BRAND, Discovering, Crafting, and Communicating the Completely True, Completely You brand you already are. That's what the cover looks like because, of course, the first thing I did when I started writing this book was not paying attention to actually writing the book, but designing the cover because, like a whole lot of authors out there, I'm a procrastinator who can't spell procrastination. And so consequently, I look for other stuff to do. And in this case, I designed the cover look. So again, what's it look like? It's going to look like that. But what's it actually look like right now? Well, that's a really good question. Let's go over to Scrivener and take a look. This is what the book looks like right now. In the main window here, that's where I actually do the writing. Over here is a list of sections or chapters. The cool thing about that is you can drag and drop them in different orders, which is really handy as you're writing a book. And then I also have a color coding system. Green means it's pretty much good to go. At least, I'll do a final proof and edit on it, but right now it's good to go. Blue means it's almost good to go, but it hasn't had its first kind of proofing flyover. Yellow, which I'm working on right here, means you started writing it, but you haven't finished it, as you can see. And then red means, oh my God, you haven't done squat. Well, I'm not working on a red one tonight. Instead, I'm going to follow up and do some writing on this one, which is about your X years. I call them the X years because ain't so pretty. Well, anyway, I'm writing about what I call your X years. So much of this book is based not just on Tom Peters' brilliant idea, but on your author's personal experience. And some of that experience ain't so pretty. Ain't so pretty. Now, all you. And some of that experience ain't so pretty, but frankly, that's the way I really learn things. My father used to say far too often that if there was a hard way to do something, I'd find it. He wasn't wrong. He wasn't wrong about that either. After 3 decades working in the creative minds of advertising, I have learned a couple of hard truths. A couple of hard truths that I've written about extensively here. but the hardest of hard, but the hardest of hard truth comes down to one simple phrase. If you don't own it, it's not yours. But the hardest of hard truths comes down to one simple. If you don't own it, it's not yours. Well, I don't want to go all therapy on you. Yeah. I think my experience is instructive and entire and completely not unique. I have a feeling that some of the people reading this book of a certain age are going to share a lot of the same thing in different ways. The same thing in different ways. And for of you younger than a certain age, feel free to. And for those of you younger than a certain age, feel free to learn by bad example. Actually, I'm going to move this down here. I'm talking about being so successful, you make it to your X years. There comes a time right at the peak of your career where there comes a time right at the peak of your career where you're really on fire. don't know if I want to talk about this. I think I have to. Where you're really on fire. You. After years climbing the ladder, getting more variance and compensation at every step on it, step up, every step up. There will come a point where if you don't own it, it's not yours. Baseball bat. Will come a point where the baseball bat comes swinging right for your forehead. You're tremendously experienced. Excellent at what you do. As your rate can attest, but excellent what you do as your pay rate can attest, and all of a sudden, too expensive for the company that you don't own. Too expensive for the company that you don't own. It happened to me. It's happened to me twice. That you don't own. Too, T-O-O, too expensive for the company that you don't own. In a situation like that, all it takes is a lost client, weak economy, or global pandemic All it takes is a lost client, weak economy, or global pandemic, and you're being politely walked out the door. And it makes economic sense too. Why let go 2 or 3 cheaper folks? You can just get rid of the biggest salary in the spreadsheet, in the payroll. That happened to me twice. It took me 2 hits with yours baseball bat to learn the lesson. But I did. 2 hits from, but I did. For years, I worked anonymously, more or less anonymously, behind the walls. The agency creating the work that attracted clients, converted customers, and raised awareness for a wide variety range of brands, but except brands, except the most important one, my own. I worked my own. Then, and I needed sure the clients I worked with most closely as a copy creative director, knew and respected me, but none them agency when the agency quit me. Turns out more loyal. Just leave that. Turns out with me, but none of them quit the agency when the agency quit me. It's a hard pill to swallow when you think only you could deliver the goods, deliver the kind of work the client needed, then to discover that was not in fact the case. But that's the power of branding. The client was buying the agency brand over yours. And why not? They had no idea what your brand actually is. That 2-5. The only. That's 2. The only ones who benefit your personal brand are your competitors. This is a tough section. Yeah. It's hard because I'm not a big one for admitting weakness. And I'm feeling, as I write this, pretty darn weak. Because this is a difficult confession. And I think I need to definitely make this confession in the book, because authenticity has to be proven. You can claim you have it, but frankly, that means nothing. You need to prove it through your actions. And so if you're a writer, you got to prove it by actually writing about it. And but this is challenging. And that's okay, because I want this book to be real, not another conventional wisdom compilation of Instagram inspirational quotes and garbage like that. I want this to be based on truly who I am, what I do, and how I do it, but also my experience and some of the painful experiences that come along with that. So, yeah, if I'm feeling a little bit uncomfortable writing this section, it's because I probably should be. I think I should write about that, I should say. As I write this, I am incredibly uncomfortable. I feel incredibly uncomfortable. As coming from the American Midwest, it's hard to talk about what it's hard to talk about things you consider to be failures. It's hard to talk about failure. It's hard to talk about failure. But that's exactly what the first 20 years of my professional career were, when it comes to creating personal brand, like the shoemaker's children. I was barefoot for decades. I went barefoot for decades. I went barefoot for decades. And only when I desperately needed to get some shoes after being politely ushered out the door, and only when did I start creating the thing I read about in Tom. What's it? Tom? No, it's up here. Tom Peters, thank you. Peters, 1987. Wired. Article. I want to see Safari. All right, go to... I'm going to look up the Beatles drum. See if I can find an image for the Beatles. Fine Art America Beatles. The Beatles. I might have to look at this. I can do tools, usage rights, labeled for reuse. Oh, if that's Wikipedia. It says it's in the Commons. It's original file. Yeah, but that's not right. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Yeah, kick drum, Beatles drum. Beatles. Yeah, I may not waste the time now to look for it. I'll do an exhaustive search tomorrow. But I want to find that Ringo Starr drum, bass drum. Ringo Starr. Is that the one? Mm-hmm. The Beatles Museum of Making Music. So where? Museum of Making Music. I'm going to have to look for it. Anyway, this section is going to take me a while to write. I can tell already because I don't want to write it at all. Because, frankly, I'm laying it out there in a pretty painful way. I think this might have to go pretty early on. So I'm going to have to think about that. You know what? This is going to take a couple of days to get through. So I'm going to put a little bit out there every night. and think about it and come back and look at it some more and do some editing and things like that, because this is the real stuff, not the glib stuff, not the haha, not the cutesy stuff, but the wow, this kind of hurts stuff. So that's when you know you're really writing, when you're not just coming up with facile sayings or phrases or sentences, but actually saying something that is coming from you. And consequently, there's a great deal of fear associated with that too, because are people going to find it interesting, or is it just kind of, dude, TMI, too much information? So for now, I'm just going to leave this. I wrote probably another 450 words tonight, so that's good. I'm moving the book forward, and frankly, that's what these sessions are all about. Not every day is going to see a entire section get written, finished, edited, and everything. A lot of them are like this, where it's do I like this? Do I not? Do I want to get a little bit more in depth about it? Do I actually want to say more about it? And the answer to this question for this section is, yeah, I want to say more about it. So I'm going to take my time with it. That said, that's it for tonight. And thanks for watching, and thanks for making me come down here and do this, because it's always a struggle. But without you kind of kicking me in the butt, I probably wouldn't be doing it. So thank you very, very much. I think tonight is episode 129, maybe, of this experience, and I've got a whole lot left to go. So let's see, 171 days left to go, or something like that, to keep writing this book. So I'm going to, especially with your help. So that's it for tonight. I'm DP Knudten for the Nonfiction Brand podcast, the newest episode came out yesterday. Check that out wherever you get your fine podcasts for free. You can get it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, via any of your clients. Like I use Marco Arment's Overcast as my podcast client on my iPhone. You can just search Nonfiction Brand and you'll find it, because it's everywhere. And please give it a listen and let me know what you think. If you like it, please thumbs up, like it, subscribe, refer it to other people, and most of all, review it wherever you get your podcast so other people can find it. That's it for me tonight. I want to thank you again for paying attention and watch me mumble at the screen. But frankly, that's half of what writing is. It's like, well, so anyway, I'll see you tomorrow night. Until then, theme music, take us on out. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.